TCL Google TVs are being pulled from the Best Buy store shelves and online. This is something we just learned of yesterday. It is something worthwhile to talk about, and it's a big deal. There's a lot going on with that, and we've said from the start, it's a buggy experience. There's no doubt about it. It's a buyer beware situation. In general, it's been a super buggy experience for a lot of people, and I guess it's been worse than what we've even reported. There's been some people that had to like reset their TV, uh, or there was a bug that caused their TV to like go into like a mode that almost pretty much bricked their TV, and they had to do like a manual reset and do all kinds of things to just flush out all the bugs. And Best Buy was like, we had enough. The TCL 4 series, 5 series, and the 6 series, they've just completely stopped selling it on the website. They stopped selling it in stores. And we're talking about the Google TV version, of course. They still sell the Roku version. As far as I know, the Roku version doesn't have any bugs like that. So
Yeah, because I mean, those Google ones just came out of nowhere. We were expecting no new TV this year from TCL, and then they just kind of came out of nowhere. So I think they just probably rushed it.
yeah, I mean, like if you look at it's an exclusive deal with Best Buy, so I'm wondering if TCL had this in production and they're just wanting to get it out there, and Best Buy was like, "Hey, we'll take it," you know, but TCL was probably like, "Hey, it's got some problems, but we can iron them out," and turns out they can't. So I don't know what went on behind closed doors with that.
I just think that there's some issues and whatever that they're just not catching, they're not aware of, and if you make them aware, then sometimes they can understand it, sometimes they can't, and who knows how long it's going to take them to fix stuff. So
So there's good news and bad news with this. Like I said, the bad news is that it's being acknowledged that it's a buggy TV. It's getting pulled, right? Best Buy doesn't even want to sell it. I've never seen that with the TV from my time of like checking out TVs and being interested. I've never seen a TV get pulled from store shelves because of bugs. So that's definitely a new one for me. And then, of course, the good thing that comes out of it is TCL is going to have to work on this so that it gets back onto store shelves. So people that have a TCL 6 series, rest assured that this probably will get fixed and things will get better for you. I know that I feel a little bit bad for people that bought this TV based off of our videos, like, saying it has a little bit of, good qualities to it. But we always did put out that, there is bugs and you're taking a risk if you're getting this TV. And there has been some people that actually came out to me and say, "Hey, like we love this TV, so I'm glad you said that it was a good experience for the most part, other than the bugs." And I think if you go ahead and get this TV and you didn't use the apps that much, or you didn't really mess around in the settings that much, you'd probably be fine with it for the most part. Um, for the price, it wasn't a terrible deal. But, all the bugs in the user experience, you got to imagine everybody getting this TV is going to be using the apps a lot to watch their shows and their movies and things like that. And when you have problems like that that are that game breaking for that user experience, then that's what you're going to get. So, yeah.
yeah, for me it was the initial setup just taking so long, being so slow.
Yeah, dude, that was so slow. Yeah, that was ridiculously slow. And honestly, it felt pretty slow like on every Google TV that I've installed so far. It
I've
just
had
takes forever to install the apps, it seems like.
I don't know. I've had no problem with the Sony's at least, but
That's interesting. Yeah, like that took forever on both experiences. This new one and then also when I reviewed them. Um, and Toby, you have this TV. You said it is buggy. Yeah, it's definitely buggy. But the good thing is now the pressure is on. The pressure is on TCL to fix this to get it back on the store shelves. So that's the good news that comes out of this is that now Best Buy has put the pressure on TCL. So you should see them work overtime to get this update out that fixes a lot of these issues. They want to get this fixed because they're losing money. Both sides are losing money in this deal. And as you guys know, this is an exclusive TV. This is not going to be sold outside of Best Buy. It was never intended to be sold outside of Best Buy.
and the way the settings and UI is set up, especially for gaming,
Hmm.
that like it ships without the gaming stuff turned on. So you hook up an Xbox or whatever, and it doesn't want to do 4K HDR things like that unless you go in It's not just like under the picture settings. It's where you have to go deep into the settings and go to the HDMI port settings and change all of that stuff. And then that's where the VRR, ALLM, and like all that stuff is. And it's you have to scroll all the way down and keep going below what you can even see. So I would expect 90% of people not to do that or not to know that.
Yeah, Antoine Butler says the Vizio OLED should have been pulled as well. A lot of people have had problems with that TV. So no doubt about that. I think there needs to be warnings on these TVs or something like on the website saying like, "Hey, look, you're gonna have issues with it, right?" Put a disclaimer on like, "Hey, this TV is not complete. We're still working through it. Firmware issues." Even the Sony TVs should probably have something on that that says, "Hey, we don't have all the features that we've stated right now. We're missing VRR." I would like to see some sort of company disclaimer stating that like you're not going to get that full experience when you're buying the TV.
Yeah, I think just there's a lot of people that want to argue that somehow these cheaper brand half price TVs can have the performance of a flagship Samsung or whatever
Hmm.
and not have drawbacks. And it's like it doesn't work that way.
Right. I just want to go ahead and highlight this comment by Brad. He said, "Dang, I considered this TV, and FOMO really pushed it as his value buy." And yeah, I mean, a lot of people pushed it as their value buy. So there's like nothing to take away from FOMO or anybody that said it was a good value buy because at the time it was a good value buy. And I put out the disclaimer that like if you could avoid these bugs, like or if you could just ignore the bugs for the most part, I know sometimes that's a hard thing to do. It should be an okay experience. Like my experience with the TV wasn't terrible. The biggest issue was the Wi-Fi thing, right? And I made that pretty clear that the Wi-Fi just didn't seem to work sometimes. And then the other thing was a thing we both ran into, where if you try to change the picture settings, it'll take you to the home screen, and that was pretty annoying.
Yep. And then I had seen other people that couldn't get other remotes to work with it or um, just other issues,
Yeah.
CE arc issues. And the basic performance metrics were good. It's just all the other stuff, general daily usability of it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then the gaming, you know, it was good unless you turned on VRR or Dolby Vision or anything like that. So
Hmm. Yeah, and I think if they fix the issues with that TV and they keep it at a budget price, it's gonna be recommended for sure. I think.
and it especially sucks how much the prices on everything else has gone back up.
Yeah.
You know, like I was recommending the X90J at 75 inches for 1600 over the R646 at what, something like that. But those prices are higher than the 90A was at Black Friday.
Yeah, super chat from Samuel, really quick. Talking about the TCL that we were just talking about. He says, "I have two TCL Google TVs. What happens now?" Well, what happens now is that you have the pressure being put on TCL from Best Buy to get these TVs right. So I think if you're a owner of the TCL Google TVs and you've liked them so far, this is nothing but good news for you that the TVs got pulled, because this puts pressure on TCL to get the updates out. Wouldn't you
I mean,
agree?
if you're okay with how it is,
Yeah.
then you're fine. Just wait, and then you'll get a little bit of improvement here and there as they update it.
Yeah.
But if you're affected by the problems and you don't want to deal with it, um, then hopefully you bought it during the time period where Best Buy has the extended return policy, and then you'd be able to take it back.
And I think even if you didn't, Best Buy would probably make an exception at this point for that.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty good about abiding by that. So
Mm-hmm.
I would tell them, hey, look, this got pulled, due to bugs, and I'm not happy with it. If you're unhappy with it, but if you like it, just I would say stick with it. If you got it at a good deal, and you're happy and it's not giving you any issues, then hopefully you would get some firmware updates in the future, very near future.